I can speak on behalf of my peers when I say that we are extremely grateful for the support all of you have given to us on this special day, as well as the days leading up to it. To the graduating class of 2018, our time has finally come. We have officially crossed the stage that we have thought about for the past 4 years, and we have officially completed a basic education. But before we get too excited about looking forwards, let's take a few moments to look back on an event that was ever so slightly before our time. On December 31st, 1999, worldwide panic ensued because people thought that the world was going to end. This was thought because it was believed that the computer systems were incapable of turning their calendars from the year 1999 to 2000. Fortunately for us graduates, the computers managed just fine, the world lived on, and thus a new millennium began. The year 2000, the year in which most of us were born. New to the world, everything seemed so wondrous and life was just there all of a sudden. We were forced to dive into life head first and accept the unknown. Years later, we are enrolled in this thing called public education. It seemed strange at first, maybe even scary for some. But after surviving that first day of kindergarten, we grew to understand the reasoning behind it. In the past 13 years, we have grown as students and we have grown as people. Our poetry units have transitioned from Dr. Seuss to William Shakespeare, and we have transitioned from awkward to slightly less awkward, from children to young adults. And now here we are, 18 years later, and we find ourselves facing the same challenges we did in the year 2000, because a lifetime of events and milestones are about to unfold in front of us, and we have no direction. We just showed up one day, and rather than a birth certificate, we received a diploma. No more Mondays to Fridays, no more 8 a.m. starts or 3:30 finishes, no more non-existent bell systems to ring us into another school year. No more Pinetree. And though we are moving on, Pinetree will always be a part of us. Whether it's from the office cookies and bubble tea we ingested, or the unevenly heated air we breathed in throughout each of the wings, I'm not sure. But the lessons we learned here will help guide us in making decisions for our future. Perhaps it was the intramurals at lunchtime or the dreaded group projects that taught us about teamwork. For some of us, the endless jam sessions in the band room or the late night rehearsals in the theater ignited ambition and passion within us. And each time we stepped foot onto those potentially fatal overpass tiles, we were reminded that life is short and it should not be taken for granted. It is these memories that will reside in our hearts and minds as we move forward in life, and these lessons that we will carry along the way. It is these moments that make Pinetree a part of us. But when we stop to think about it, Pinetree itself and the lessons it has taught us will only be a small portion of what we take with us. The true memories and lessons come from the people of Pinetree, the staff. The faculty at Pinetree Secondary has worked far beyond their 40-hour weeks to ensure we have the best high school experience. They have volunteered their mornings, afternoons, and off blocks to help us when we are struggling. They have lent us their ears when we have had personal troubles, and they have seen potential in us when we couldn't see it for ourselves. And just like Pinetree, they have each taught us some valuable lessons that we can't necessarily learn from the pages of a textbook. During our first 2 years, Mr. McCullough, as well as Bob Marley, insisted to not worry and to be happy no matter what came our way. Since the start of grade 9, Mr. Wozni relentless cross-country recruitment tactics taught us that persistence is key. This year, Miss Louie proved to us that we cannot hide from our problems despite our impressive efforts. And throughout all of our 4 years at Pinetree, every single one of our staff members has shown us that there is always someone that cares. So to all of the staff at Pinetree Secondary, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without you, the school would not possess the qualities that make Pinetree, well, Pinetree. And to Mr. Clark, Mr. Phelan, Ms. Payne, and Ms. Dubé, thank you for being the iron fists that keep the halls of Pinetree civil. As we can imagine, it's not an easy job, especially since you are not given the opportunity to watch us grow from our grade 9 selves. And yet you came into our school and demonstrated exactly what it means to be a member of the Pinetree community. Fair, kind, and always able to put a smile on your face despite how hard it may be to deal with certain situations. Thank you for your work, and thank you for being important role models in our lives. To the other important role models in our lives, our parents and our guardians, you did it. You are no longer legally required to care for us. All jokes aside, words cannot describe how thankful we are for you. You brought us into this world, and you have not yet taken us out despite the numerous warnings. You have guided us in life, but at the same time allowed us to be our own people. You have encouraged us to find a passion, develop a drive, and choose our own path, despite the occasional push towards higher paying jobs. Be a doctor, you say. Be a lawyer, says another. Or, if you're anything like my father, be a helicopter pilot so you can take me on free rides. You have been our shoulders to lean on, our comical relief, and you have been our biggest fans. You have continued to support us through our achievements and our failures, and you have loved us unconditionally. Thank you to the parents and any others that have raised us into the young adults we are today. Thank you for holding our hands on the first day of school, and today, thank you for letting go and trusting us to grow into the adults you have hoped for us to be. Every single one of us has a different upbringing, set of beliefs and morals, and we each have our own passions and goals. We have traveled from different schools, districts, and continents. And as cliche as it sounds, we all have a journey. I started this journey that you call public education at Westwood Elementary School. Our mascot, the wolf. And though we may not have all started as a wolf, we all finished as one, a timber wolf, or if you prefer a pine cone. As you sit here, it may feel like your world is ending, but I promise you, it's not. You, the computers, and the world in which we are about to take on with nothing less than integrity will be fine. Because we are the graduating class of 2018, and because we are Pinetree. Thank you.